Hey guys, I'm Fill the Blanks, and it is hard to believe that next week is E3. It's actually just a couple days away, to be really honest. And holy shit, it just feels like this whole year has flown by. But you know, E3 is coming up, and that means one thing, that it means it's time for me to tell you what I think is going to happen and what I'd like to happen, because they're not always the same thing. So, alright, let's go. Weirdly enough, Sony's not going to be at this year's E3, but I really still think they're going to do something. They're going to do a state of play or some sort of almost like their own version of Nintendo Direct. It'd be very stupid if they straight up didn't do anything this year, but it is Sony. They're trying something new, so maybe they won't do anything. But from what I've been kind of gathering from what's been going on, I have a feeling that they're going to kind of officially show off the PlayStation 5. Maybe nothing crazy, not like a whole, here's the price, here's the thing. No, just look, the PlayStation 5 is coming out, here's some things, maybe here's some graphics, and that's going to be about it. I don't know, maybe. I really hope we're going to see more of Ghost of Tsushima. We still didn't see much since last year, and I'm really getting kind of annoyed by that, to be honest. But other than that, with Sony, I'm not really expecting a large amount of things simply because they're not going to be at E3 this year. Last of Us 2 should get a release date. If it doesn't, I'm officially just not caring anymore until it comes out, because they've been dragging me on this journey for way too long, to be honest. So EA, I think, is the first ones with an actual conference. So it's gonna be sports. Lots of sports. I actually think this year they're gonna focus a lot more on that Star Wars game, the Jedi Fallen Order. I don't even remember what it's called. Everyone's all excited for it, even though we literally know nothing about this game other than, I guess, it's single player and won't have microtransactions. That's what I've been hearing. I don't know. I'm the type of person, it's you can't just smack Star Wars onto something and just immediately get a response from me. So right now that means literally nothing from me. I don't care until it gets shown off. Apparently there's not going to be a Need for Speed this year. That was actually the only thing I was actually kind of looking forward to with EA, because I do enjoy the Need for Speed games, but I guess that's not a thing, so I guess we're moving on. Bethesda says they're not going to bring any of their big games, so we're probably not going to see that really cool space game they kind of announced last year. We're not going to see Elder Scrolls 6. But it does mean we'll see stuff like Doom Eternal and whatnot. So whatever, pretty cool. I'm not a giant Bethesda guy. I find their conferences are really cringy too. So, but whatever. I mean, they do make good games, so I'll probably just watch it for the sake of it and then end up playing the game that they release a year after the releases. But the stuff they make, at least, is good. Ubisoft is another one that I tend to not really care about the press conference, because I find every Ubisoft game plays pretty much identical. It's always either a Tom Clancy style game, which I'm not interested in, or it's a large open world game like Assassin's Creed, which are definitely fun, but I can't get excited over them. Though this year, right before everything started, just a few days ago, they had a new IP leaked out, kind of. I don't know if there's a name or anything, but I just saw a screenshot of the characters, and it looks like Overwatch meets a roller derby kind of thing, and that actually looks super interesting. I really sort of like that. So I'm actually watching just for this game, to be honest. It's I like Overwatch a lot. I'm garbage at the game, and it's because it's a first-person shooter. I'm not very good at them, but I love a lot about Overwatch. It has a lot of character and a lot of personality. And if I can get that kind of thing in a different game that I might be a little bit better at, I'd be super interested. So, yay, cool. Microsoft has a lot they need to do this year. The last year was a total failure of a year. It's been really bad for them. Last year's E3 presentation was, hey, we got no games to show off, but look at all these companies we bought to make games. Bye. And I mean, cool, it shows that they know they need to get the talent, but it also shows that they're the type of company that throws money at a problem and hope it fixes itself. The main thing I want from Microsoft is I wouldn't mind seeing the next Xbox. There's big rumors going around that there might be a new Banjo-Kazooie game, because I guess there's a bunch of Banjo-Kazooie products that are showing up that people can purchase. That'd be kind of cool. But it really, for me, it's Battletoads. They teased Battletoads last year. They said it is coming. I need to see it. I would love to see that it's really good. I'm worried about what it could be, because this needs to be a new Battletoads game, not just Battletoads Rebirth, and it's just basically the same game. The first level's in a canyon, the second level's going down the canyon, the third level is the friggin' bikes, the fourth level is the stupid snakes, the fifth level is, stop making the exact same game over and over and over again. That's why I like Battletoads and Battlemaniac so much, because it is a Battletoads game, but it's not the exact same friggin' game every time. And I find that nowadays when companies reboot something, or they bring an old series back, they just basically redo the game. Even though it's not technically the same, it's basically the same. It's like you don't have any new ideas in here, so I really don't want that. I would really like it if they showed it off and it was like, there's Battletoads, it looked really good, and at the very end they were like, don't forget about us, and like Billy and Jimmy from Double Dragon showed up and it was actually a Battletoads and Double Dragon game. I would go absolutely friggin' nuts. They'd get close to winning E3 for me if they did something like that, but yeah. They also have Halo, the new Gears game. There's like a Gears 5 and a Gears Pop game, both of which look kind of interesting. Halo, from what I've been hearing, some people think it's a reboot, some people think it's open world. I don't know. Halo needs something, because Halo 5, from what I've been hearing from people, didn't do super well, so man, Microsoft's got to do something. All they ever do every year is, here's a new Forza game. Speaking of which, we'll see the new Forza game, and it is Forza 8 this year, Forza Motorsport, so it's not Horizon. So they'll probably have a big, expensive car on stage that they're going to be like, oh, look at this car, and I'm going to be like, cool, I know nothing about cars, I like video games, and I won't care. Then they'll show the game and not actually care. Square Enix has made a big promise, and that is, they're going to show Final Fantasy VII. And I really don't give a shit what else they show. We know that there's a sequel to Octopath Traveler. We don't know if it'll be at E3, but we know it exists. Apparently Bravely Default might be coming out for the Switch or something. I don't know, Final Fantasy 16 might be shown off. Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC might be shown off. I don't care, because Final Fantasy 7's actually happening. And while I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy 7 fan, I do think this is one of those things that I think everyone wants to see. I certainly do, and I want them to see it done right. So with them actually showing some of it off at E3, maybe we'll actually get some, legitimate details about it, other than the fact that it's just a trailer and it exists. Like, maybe there's a release date. How many parts is it going to be? Like, this stuff is super important. So they really need to show something, because if they showed off like that small trailer and then said more to come in June and it's just another small trailer, they're really doing a disservice to themselves, and they're basically slapping their fans at that point. And Square's sort of known for doing that, so they really got to avoid that. They got to show a lot of this. I don't just mean in terms of a trailer. They need to show the details, and they just basically have to. It's at a point now where no one's caring anymore, and that's always been Square's problem. They show off a game the second they conceive it, they make up a pretty trailer that has nothing to do with anything, and then it takes for friggin' ever for anything to come out. FF15 was supposed to be a Final Fantasy 13 sequel, and it was announced the same year as Final Fantasy 13, and took nearly 10 years for it to come out. Like, 7 was announced in 2015, I believe? It was announced before it was married. Like, holy shit. Like, they need to do something. They need to stop doing that. To be honest, the entire industry needs to stop doing that, but Square Enix is specifically bad with this. But they have, like, there's really high hopes for Square Enix right now, and I hope they deliver. I guess they are going to show that Marvel game they announced, I think, 2 years ago. That'll be really cool. I've been really excited about this. The Marvel movies, the MCU, really deserves good video games. Like, good video games. And Ultimate Alliance looks really cool, don't get me wrong. And that'll be a really good thing for the people who are super into that, or into the comic stuff. I'm not as big into the comics as I am into the MCU, so having an MCU-based game will be really, really cool, and I guess it's being headed off by Square Enix, by one of their, I think it's Crystal Dynamics that's making it, so I'm super okay with that. It's either that, or it's the guys who made Just Cause, I don't know, but it has a good team working on it. I can't wait to see it. Bunch of the smaller studios, we have Capcom and Konami. Capcom, I really hope there's something Mega Man related. I know that's really selfish because Mega Man 11 only came out last year, but I'd like to think it did well enough for something to be shown off. Not specifically like Mega Man 12, but I don't know, something Mega Man. Just show Mega Man's not truly dead. It's not just a one, flash in the pan game. I'm hoping they show off Resident Evil 8. I really hope it's fully VR. I mean fully VR. Resident Evil 7 was really cool, but it wasn't made for VR, even though the VR was very well done in it. 8 should be full-on VR, even if that means console-wise it'll only be available for PlayStation 4. I don't care. I think Resident Evil 8 should totally go that route. It looks super awesome. We're going to see a little bit more of Monster Hunter World, because they showed off the stuff at the State of Play, so that's pretty cool. Rumor is that Dino Crisis might be coming back. I would be super okay with that. Dino Crisis is really, really fun. And Capcom has a lot of IPs that they're not really utilizing very well, so I'd love to see that. Wouldn't mind an extra fighting game. They're still going with Street Fighter V. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is officially dead, I think. We're not going to see anything on that, but it would be cool to see something new, something cool. Konami's got to do something. They've been such a non-player for a long time. The last Castlevania game was Lord of Shadows 2, or it was like Mirrors of Fate, both of which were garbage. It'd be really cool to see something actually really cool. I don't know why they haven't teamed up with From Software and make a Dark Souls Castlevania game. Like, seriously, and I'm actually not like joking around with that. I don't understand why a new Castlevania in a Souls-like game doesn't exist yet. It's so perfect for it. Bring back that brutal difficulty and that like sense of weight that your character used to have, instead of just like flashy combos and stuff like the newer Castlevanias had. So yeah, I totally would love a Castlevania game. And I don't know, maybe Contra, that thing I complain about literally every year. Where the frig is my Contra game? So I don't know. I don't really expect anything from Konami. I don't think anyone expects anything from Konami. They've been such a non-player in the gaming industry for a little while now. So whatever. Yacht Club, they got to show off the new Shovel Knight expansion, King of Cards, or whatever it's called. Shovel Knight was supposed to be finished in 2017, like with all the DLC. It is now just about the later half of 2019. The last expansion's not out yet. It's huge, apparently, but I understand. Whatever. But that they're going to show that off. Hopefully have a full release date, because it's gotten delayed again. And hopefully we'll see something about Cyber Shadow. Holy shit. They showed off Cyber Shadow a little while back, and it looks just goddamn incredible. I cannot wait to play it. It looks just gorgeous and difficult, and I can't wait to see it. And of course the big one, at least the big one for me, it's Nintendo. Of course it is. It's Nintendo every year. And I think it's funny, I work at a game store, everyone comes in, they're like, Nintendo's got nothing this year. Look, there's nothing coming out. I'm like, there are 5 major Nintendo franchises with games coming out from this point to the end of the year. You have Super Mario Maker 2, you have Fire Emblem 3 Houses, you have Pokemon Sword and Shield, you have Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and you have Animal Crossing. And that's just from Nintendo, just for the next 6 months. So that's ludicrous. You also have third-party games like Demon Ex Machina, you have Astral Chain, like there's some stuff coming out that's not from Nintendo that's going to be impressive. But specifically, what I think they're going to concentrate on this year, they've already done a Super Mario Maker 2 Direct, so I think Mario Maker 2 is going to have a very low presence. I think it'll have stuff in the Treehouse, but just not during the Nintendo Direct, which is okay by me, because Mario Maker to me is very much a Treehouse-centric type of game. And they did that the first year, the first one was coming out, and I watched like 4 hours of Mario Maker. It was perfect. Pokemon is also going to have a Direct. I have zero idea when this is going to go up. This could be literally right after or right before the Pokemon Direct. But I think that means that Pokemon's not going to have a major presence at this E3, which I think is, again, super okay. As much as I really like Pokemon stuff, having an entire E3 thing centered around it wouldn't be the smartest idea. I hope they don't focus too much on Fire Emblem. That one's about to come out at the end of July, so obviously have a trailer and then like maybe talk about it for 5 minutes, but don't make it a big deal, don't make it a huge thing. Again, that's something that could easily be part of the Treehouse, so just keep it at that. Which means there's 2 major games coming out this year that they can focus on. I think there's going to be a little bit of Link's Awakening, not too much hopefully, because it is a remake, which means there's not as much mystery in a remake. Especially a fairly well-known Zelda game like Link's Awakening, as much as there is with brand new games. So don't show too much of it. Another trailer would be great with some in-depth gameplay, but I don't need one of those things that they do that's like 15 whole minutes and it's a narrator explaining the game mechanics. No, just good old trailer. Again, something for the Treehouse would be great. I think out of all the games that we know about, I think this E3 for Nintendo will concentrate on Animal Crossing. And I think that's great. I really hope a lot of it is about Animal Crossing. It might not be my favorite thing, but Animal Crossing it's long overdue for the Switch. I can't believe we're in the 3rd year and we still don't know anything about the Animal Crossing game, which is kind of ludicrous. And I think it'll be one of the biggest Nintendo games of this year, absolutely. So I hope a good chunk of the E3 presentation is about that, and I think the Treehouse is kind of perfect for that type of game. Now, as for things that we don't really know about, or that we know that aren't coming out this year, they'll probably show off some Luigi's Mansion 3, which is super cool. We know that's not coming out until next year, and that's fine. I'd love to see more of it. I don't think we're going to see any Metroid Prime 4. That hurts me a little to say, but I mean, it was delayed, completely delayed. Earlier this year, they announced that they were starting over completely from scratch, and that they were going to get Retro Studios to help them out. While it'd be really cool to get a teaser, if they don't have something concrete to show, I don't think they should show it. I think it's you're lucky that there was no bad blood around the Metroid Prime 4 delay, Nintendo. Keep it at that. Don't just be like, here's a little teaser trailer and it's a cinematic thing and it shows us nothing. That's gonna create some bad blood. Just don't show anything if you don't have anything concrete to show. We're also going to find out about the newest Smash Bros. DLC fighter, at least we should. I'd be extremely disappointed if it doesn't. With the way Nintendo is, sometimes they like to make it about something that they were previously talking about. So it could be a new Fire Emblem character or Pokemon character if it is first party, and they could easily be like, oh, here's Pokemon, and then at the very end of the trailer be like, here's the Smash Bros. Logo, and it goes right into Fire Emblem again, or Pokemon again. Who knows? It could be something brand new. I sort of hope it's third party, just so we can see something really cool. It might be Banjo-Kazooie, that'd be amazing. You never know, I don't know. And that's all kind of we know right now. The thing about Nintendo is we never always know everything they do. Last year we knew that there was a Smash Brothers, but we didn't know anything about Smash Brothers until E3. And that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like, that's just mind-blowing. When I did my first look at, like, the Nintendo Switch when it was about to come out, like, when it was, like, announced, we didn't even know about Super Mario Odyssey. Like, Nintendo's super weird with that stuff, where they'll announce big things right before they come out. I don't think they'll announce anything major that'll be coming out this year that we don't already know about, but I think we'll see some major announcements that will be about next year. I think they might be announcing a Mario Kart 9, which is super overdue. Mario Kart 8, the original Mario Kart 8 came out 5 years ago in 2014. A new Mario Kart should show up. Something should happen. And not just the mobile one, I think a full-fledged new Mario Kart game should show up. Now, but things that I want, though, it's the same as last year, guys. It's always going to be this stuff, but we're not going to see it. But I'm still going to say it. I'd love to see a sequel to Mario RPG. That's just a big, epic RPG with Mario, with Square Enix. I'd love to see a Punch-Out. I already mentioned Contra. You know, things like that. I just want to see stuff like that. So anyways, that's the stuff I'd like to see, what I think is going to happen. I'd love to hear from you guys. Tell me in the comments below what you think is going to happen at E3, and let's just all get hyped and be happy about what's going to be happening at E3 this year. I'm Phil in the Blanks, and I'll see you guys next time.